Hey, EDU 417 students, this is Dr. Chad Kish. This is Module 4, Video 2, and we're working in Chapter 4 for Curriculum Development. And this is specifically, this video lecture specifically for those going into the teaching field, because we're going to discuss connecting GLEs and GLOs, as well as the Show Me standards, and aligning them to content standards related to our performance objectives that we started working on in Chapter 4 Curriculum Development in the normal video. But this video, if you're here, is only for PE teachers or for the EDU 417 P class. When you're looking through this video, make sure the activities you do, you print out and put in your portfolio, because I want to take a look at them. I'm not going to have you submit them on Canvas, but there are several activities in the video. So actively watch this, take notes, and then do the activities and do them on a separate piece of paper as we get there. I'll explain them as we go. So here are basically our big ideas. How do you use GLEs and GLOs in the curriculum development process as well as lesson planning? And how do you implement the Show Me standards into your teaching? The Show Me standards are an older list of standards. They're not built around PE. They're built around more of what successful high school graduates can do, so you will have to even pare them down a little bit more for the elementary class. You may not use those in your school district, but they still are on the books, and they are some good ideas that you can look at to help you develop dynamic curriculum that helps people be prepared to be successful in their future life, whether that's the workforce, college, or just living a healthy life. So let's review real quick. What is a GLE? It's a grade level expectation. It's defined by the Missouri Learning Standards as well as the Show Me standards. All right? It is really defined as the expected performance level of a student completing the specific course. It's an end goal. What is a GLO? A GLO could be a grade level objective, but for this case, it's a grade level outcome. It's developed by NASP and Shape America, as well as Shape Missouri. And it's at the end of the grade, the learner will demonstrate competence in a certain area. It's the end result. All right. So it's the outcome of learning, what they are able to do, not what an expectation is, what we're trying to build to, their goal, what we want them to be able to do. But the outcome is the actual end result. So we're going to use two documents. If you haven't yet, pause this video, go back to the same place in the module, and download, print, read, have available the Show Me Standards document. And then the other one, you'll probably just want to download and look over because it's a lot of pages. It'll have the Missouri GLEs K-12 for Physical Education version 2016 document. Go to that link, download that, save it to a flash drive. You probably don't want to print that, but we're going to use several pages so you can scroll back and forth through it. So we're going to use the Missouri GLE GLO form to develop a specific performance objective aligned with the NASP standards. All right, so open that document. Pause this if you need to, and I'll toggle back and forth here a little bit. We're going to use page 4 of this document, the Missouri GLE K-12 for Physical Education version 2016. We're going to use that specific document. So go to page 4. If you look at page 4, you're going to see across the top, it'll say NASP standard number 1 in the far left box in row 1, column 1. And then you'll see the grade levels across the top. And this one's K through 5. Some elementary schools will have 6th grade, but this is K through 5 here. And if you look at this specific standard, the focus is on demonstrating competency in a variety of motor skills. So that would be what? NASP standard number 1. All right, let me toggle and I'll come back a little bit, see if this works. So if you look at the document here, this is page 4 of our GLE GLO document. Elementary school outcomes, K through grade 5. By the end of grade 5, the learner will demonstrate competence in fundamental motor skills and selected combination skills. And then there's some more information here. Swimming skills and water safety activities should be taught if facilities permit. So remember to try to do some of that. So if you look here, we'll see where it says Standard 1. That means it's NASP Standard 1, which is demonstrating competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns. That is the description of NASP Standard number 1. So if we look at S1 here, .E1, Standard 1, Example 1, is locomotor skills. And for this, we're going to look at hopping, galloping, running, sliding, skipping, and leaping. All right, Standard 1, E2 is locomotor skills that include jogging and running. So if you look at that column, you'll see how that breaks down. If you look across this blue row here on the top, you have your kindergarten through grade 5, and you'll see if you come down here under S1E1, locomotor, this is going to progressively, there's going to be a sequence. So it's going to move through your motor patterns to have a sequence to allow people to improve and be more demanding at the different grade levels. All right, so take a look at this document. If you don't have it opened up, you can look at it here in the video. Kindergarten performs locomotor skills, hops, gallops using a mature pattern, skips using a mature pattern, leaps using a mature pattern. So as you can see, it gets developmentally appropriate along the way. So remember, we looked at S1E1 on page 4, which is specific locomotor skills. If you scroll down, which I'll toggle back and do next, to page 6, you'll see along the way how Standard 1 has different examples, which 7 is non-locomotor skills. So if we just scroll down here, this is page 5, page 7 gets Standard 1, 10 non-locomotor, which is stability, curling, stretching, twisting, bending, rolling, pushing, pulling, and down to combinations. You might have non-locomotor such as weight transfer. Remember, in Standard 1, we also have manipulative skills, which could be dribbling the ball with the feet, could be passing and receiving with the feet. It could be dribbling in combination while you're moving. It might be volleying underhand. It could be kicking. So manipulative has a lot of different skills involved. Catching is manipulative because you're manipulating an object. All right. So hopefully you can scroll down through this document and see a different variety of motor skills. All right. We'll go back to. So hopefully you can look where you saw some non-locomotor skills and some manipulative skills. So using the GLA document. So across the top row, you saw the grade levels, but S1 stands for Standard 1, and then the descriptions under that with motor skills and movement patterns. So use the document, go across the top on K through 5. You'll see there, look at grade 3. You'll see S1E1 locomotor, and that tells us we should be leaping at a mature learning pattern. All right, so grade 3, Standard 1, grade 3, and S1E1 locomotor skills, which has all these different activities. Leaping using a mature pattern is a outcome expected for grade 3. All right, so think, how could I teach and assess this concept? Leaping using a mature pattern. How could you teach it? What kind of lesson concept could you have? And then how could you test it or assess it to make sure the students are actually able to do it? So put a little thought into that, because that's an activity we're going to do. So developing a lesson concept and performance objective. What lesson could I teach for the concept? So if I wanted to look at a leaping activity, we could have some kind of interactive activity where we teach leaping, we teach the mature pattern, we put it into action in a leapfrog lesson where we have various activities. They might be able to leap over things, and if they do it correctly, say they leap over a frisbee, they can turn it over. There might be something on the bottom that tells them something. It might be a prize, it might be a number, who collects the most bonus bucks. All right? How could you assess leaping with the mature pattern. If you've taken assessment class, when we're looking at form or mature patterns, we need to have some kind of checklist or rubric that we're using. At the elementary level, leaping with the mature pattern might be a whole class checklist where we're checking through different students that we see that are able to do it. But we need to understand for us what a mature pattern means. So we might have to have various different categories on that. Then next, you would write a performance. The student's performance objective. Remember, 3 parts: task, condition, criteria. So our lesson's performance objective, knowing that we're looking at this specific skill, the students will demonstrate correct leaping during the leapfrog activity at least 3 times. So that's where we could use our checklist to check off if they've done it at least 3 times. So hopefully that helps you tie in the whole idea on the GLE, GLO sheet of looking at just a lesson idea or a specific skill. You're going to have to brainstorm the lesson, how you're going to assess it, and then write your performance objective to tie to that. So that's what I want you to do next. Scroll down to page 8 and use S1E13, grade level 3, to complete the following 3 prompts. And what I'll let you do is, you don't have to use the example 13. You can use anything in standard 1 that's not on page 4. All right, go ahead and go to a different page, but complete the following 3 prompts. What lesson can I teach for the specific concept? So if you don't use S1E13, tell me which one you're using. All right, so if you're using S1E9, tell me what it is. Is it, throwing at the mature pattern, whatever the case, and make sure you're using grade level 3 though. All right. So number 1, what lesson could you teach to teach the concept? Let me know that. Number 2, how can I assess it? What kind of assessment could I, a performance-based assessment, all right? And then write your 3-part performance objective with the task, condition, and criteria based on your concept. Your assessment's going to be the whole idea on the criteria, right? And then place this completed activity in your portfolio. So print this out on a separate sheet of paper. You can handwrite it, but I want to look at this when we meet in class the next time to make sure you're along the right track and you understand how to use GLEs to write aligned performance objectives. All right, so hopefully that sheds a little bit of light on being able to connect those things. Next, let's look at the Show Me standards. The Show Me standards are a set of knowledge and performance-based goals that detail what students that graduate from high school in the state of Missouri should know and be able to do. Now, these aren't just PE and health related. Actually, each content area has a specific set of foundational knowledge. PE and health has 7 specific criteria. So we'll look at that. There's a side with 6 boxes or 6 different subject areas. All right. There are also 4 major performance goals and sub-goals that are on the other side. So this has basically, it's a 2-page document. So let me pull that up and I'll go over that a little bit with you. So on the first page of the document here, page 1, the Show Me standards, you should read about them here. Read this whole document. You're going to see these 6 different core areas, and luckily health and PE got included in this. You got your communication arts, math, science, social studies, fine arts. So remember, this is knowledge plus performance equaling academic success in the state of Missouri. So health and PE has 7 different goals here, right? So the health and physical education students in Missouri public schools should acquire solid foundational skills and knowledge in each of these following ones. If you look at these, most of those these 7 are related to health. But if you come down and look at number 4, principles of movement and physical fitness, number 5, methods used to assess health, all right, those 2 really are the ones connected mostly to physical education. So when we look a little bit into our Show Me Standards activity, the side with 6 boxes here, health and physical education, look probably at number 4 to do your activity. Let me show you page 2 here, has 4 boxes. Read your note to readers, a little bit more here, all right? there are 4 major goals, and these are just goals across all subject areas. Students in Missouri will acquire knowledge and skills to gather, analyze, and apply information. So these are more overarching goals. They will be able to acquire the knowledge and skills to recognize and solve problems. Think of these, some of the DOK levels. Acquire knowledge and skills to communicate effectively within and beyond the classroom. All right? Acquire knowledge and skills to make decisions and act as responsible members of society. So if you think some of these even sound a little bit of the same verbiage as some of the NASB standards. So each of these goals, there's a goal, and they'll have between 7 and 10 sub-goals. All right? So a sub-goal under goal 1 might be number 10, apply acquired information, ideas, and skills to different contexts as students, workers, citizens, and consumers. All right. So when we look at this side, we'll look at one of the 4 goals and we'll select a sub goal and then browse through this, find one you really like. Communicate effectively within and beyond the classroom. Maybe this could be NASB standard number 4, tying into some sportsmanship. You might talk about ethics and your being a responsible member of society. This could even tie into NASB standard number 4. Recognize and solve problems. NASB standard number 2 would fit with goal 3. All right. So those are the 4 major performance goals that kind of transcend subject areas. That's a side with 4 boxes. The side with 6 boxes, you need to look at the PE and health specific box, and there's 7 criteria on there. So how are we going to use the Show Me standards? All right. So here's your activity for the Show Me standards. Use page 1 of the Show Me standards document. That's a side with 6 boxes. Look at the health and PE box and browse through any of the 7 areas. Most of them are related to health, but there's a couple there that tie directly into PE. Or if you wanted to do a health lesson here, that's completely acceptable too. So list the number and the description. So tell me if you pick number 4 and then what the sentence at number 4 is. Then you're going to have to do some thinking here. List a lesson concept you could teach that is aligned with that important part of the Show Me standards. Just like we did in the last activity, consider how you might assess this lesson at the end. Because if you have the idea of the lesson and then how you want to assess it, you can write an observable performance objective in the 3-part method. All right? So task, condition, criteria. So here's what I want you to do. Activity 1 for Show Me standards. Use page 1, the side with 6 boxes. Do these 4 things. And this needs to be task, comma, condition, comma, criteria. You can print that out or write it. It needs to be on a separate sheet of paper and place it in your portfolio. Bring it to class the next time. I want to look over it and just assess your understanding. Our activity number 2 for the Show Me standards here is Show Me standards goals. All right. Use page 2 of the Show Me standards document, the side with 4 boxes. And these, like I said, transcend all subject areas. Choose any of those 4 boxes. There's a goal, and then look down and choose a sub-goal. So we're narrowing it down. So provide the answer to the following 5 questions for me on this activity. List the goal number and its description. Then list your specific sub-goal and description. Then we're going to go through the whole process again. List a lesson concept that is aligned. Make all these lesson concepts different between these activities. All right. Think of connecting it to curriculum. List that lesson concept that's aligned with your goal and sub-goal. Consider how you might assess the lesson, because that's going to help you write your performance objective. And then write a 3-part task, condition, criteria, observable performance objective related to this. Same thing. Print or write this. Place this in your portfolio. Bring it to class the next time because we'll briefly have a discussion. I want to assess it. All right. If you have any questions on any of these, let me know. But these are going to be activities for basically teachers. It's great for you to know as a teacher how to use the Show Me standards and the GLEs, GLOs to write some performance objectives, because if you can do that, you can tie everything together with curriculum. You'll learn a lot more about this in the curriculum class, which is PEP 406. You may be taking it now or later semester. All right. Have a great day. Hopefully we'll see you in class next time. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email. Be as specific as you can, and if we need to set up a Zoom meeting, we can. But print out these 3 activities when you complete them so we can look at them in class and I can give you some feedback.